Hello everyone and welcome to another educational video from the Traders Academy Club. My name is Jordan Kuzmanov and today we're going to talk about some of the key differences between successful and not successful traders and some of the key mistakes beginner traders, maybe even some of the advanced traders are still doing, and the things that people assume when they come to the trading world, things which are not completely true, and this is usually leading to not very good results at the end of the day. So let's move forward and start with the presentation. The first thing, of course, is to invite you to go ahead and check out our club. This is the tradersacademyclub.com. You can see all the details there, and of course make sure to join our free Telegram channel where plenty of useful information, trading related of course, is shared pretty much on daily basis, guys. Alright, so before we begin, I'm pretty sure that many traders or people who are trying to be successful traders have the question, or it's more of a series of questions regarding the biggest secret. Wow, I'm sorry about that. Let me just move the phone over here. So usually people are asking themselves, once you try to figure out how this trading world works, what's the secret, right? What is it that other successful traders have and I don't? How come there are people who actually manage to start producing money and pips from the markets, and I'm not one of these people? There are many statistics and percentages. In terms of percentages, we're talking anywhere from 70 up to 95%, depending on which source you go to. But let's say that 5 up to 10-15% of the traders are successful. The rest are simply losing money. And this is really something that could crush you psychologically, and especially if you tried many times to get there, and there is always something missing. There is always, you're right on the edge. It feels like you're going to cross this line, this imaginary line between long-term profitability and not being profitable, right? Losing, and it seems like you're never able to cross it. I don't think people are stupid or lazy. Au contraire, guys, many traders are really trying hard, but there are still a few key components missing, and today we're going to talk about these components. So let's move forward. First of all, I would like you to pause this video right now and look at this chart and try to understand what success means for you, because everything starts from there. I mean, you need to understand what success means for you and what's the right approach to getting what you would like from life. So I spoke to many friends of mine, and they're not traders, they have nothing to do with trading, and this is a very simple question. And when I ask them to define what success is for them, usually they start with, oh, have money, have financial freedom and all that, but that's it. It's super vague, and it's really helpful if you're able to define it specifically, step by step, what exactly success means to you. Does it mean to get better job? And if yes, what exactly a better job means? Better hours, more free time, not working during the weekends, more money, but working during the weekends, and you're willing to sacrifice the time versus the money, right? You want financial freedom, Be specific. What exactly does that mean? Okay? Some people would like to turn their hobby into a career, into a profession, something that will bring them money, right? That could be having family, finding love, traveling the world, anything really. But you must be able to define it, and you will understand why once we move forward with the presentation. Then on the right hand side, you will see that we're talking about qualities that we might have. Of course, any person in the world has qualities. The question is, what are your strengths? What are you very good at? Or you have the potential to become an expert? Do you love making films? Can you become a video editor? Do you love trading? Do you like the charts? Do you like analyzing fundamentals? What is it? Just sit down, put it on a piece of paper, and then the idea is very simple. Once you have defined what success means for you and what your qualities are, this is how you get there. It's really that simple, guys. But if you don't have this structure in your head and to make it absolutely clear what exactly do you want and how exactly you're going to get there, it's not going to happen that easy. Yes, for some people probably it happens, whether it's luck or they are just, I don't know, making the right decision somehow for some reason, but for most people it doesn't happen this way. So this kind of plan is, I'm not going to say guaranteeing you that it will bring you there, but it will definitely push you in the right direction. And again, this is a broad view of how we should perceive and interact with the world around us, because trading is not everything, right? I mean, it's means of financial freedom, let's say, or something that will give you more free time, but it's about how we're approaching the idea of success, because being not successful in trading is usually related to not being successful overall. Not always, but if you have the abilities to succeed in most of the things that you step into and you get involved into different projects, etc., applying this same approach here is very likely going to bring you success. And now this is another question which is kind of tricky, but do you think success equals happiness? Because there are many successful people who are literally married to their office or to their job, and they never get to see the families, the kids. They never spend time together. They never go to vacations, or almost never. So in this case, I don't think success equals happiness. And that's why I brought up the success question before, because these two, in my opinion, should go hand in hand. So ask yourself this question and really think about it, guys. I mean, these are really fundamental stuff, and if we adjust our idea and our perception of everything that's happening around us, chances of being a good trader increase dramatically. Now, to the 5 factors or tips that were mentioned in the beginning. The first thing is, success usually comes after many failures, and of course Edison and the light bulb immediately come in mind, at least to my mind, because it's a clear example of what consistency and dedication and hard work can deliver. The important part here is to not give up. I mean, if you have a dream and you have an idea of what you would like to do, and in this case, success means creating this little fella, right? If you're persistent enough, you will get there. That's the bottom line here. Do not give up, work hard, and do it the right way. But we're going to talk about that in a second. So let's go over this. As an inventor, Edison made 1,000 unsuccessful attempts at inventing the light bulb. When a reporter asked how did it feel to fail 1,000 times, Edison replied, "I didn't fail 1,000 times. The light bulb was invention with 1,000 steps." Right? It's the path towards success. That's the idea. Consistency. You will have many downfalls, you will have many failures on the way, but eventually you get there. Okay? So, one thing that we should relate to trading when it comes to this idea is that losing is inevitable, guys. And many traders refuse to accept it. And usually those are people who didn't really cross paths with trading and they're still somehow caught up in the whole marketing false dreams that were being sold, right? You get one strategy for $100 and you start clicking buy and sell when you see the arrows, and you make millions and millions and millions of dollars or euros or whatever your currency is. It doesn't work this way. Losing is part of it, and the sooner you understand that, the better. It will help you psychologically, and it will definitely help you with your performance. The second crucial part here is about the responsibilities we carry as traders. Now, if you blame anyone else but yourself for your failures, you will not get anywhere. This I can guarantee now. You're the only person who's behind the monitor, who's clicking the buy and sell buttons. Let's be clear about that, okay? I don't care what analysts you're listening on the TV, what they say on Bloomberg or CNN or, I don't know, forums, internet, whatever it is. I don't care who you follow in some Telegram or WhatsApp group or Facebook group. You are the person behind the monitor clicking sell or buy, which means it's 100% your responsibility to make sure to analyze the information that you have. Again, whether this is some advice from some person that you trust, or this is your own analysis that you're doing on the chart, it's you, 100%. Understand it, okay? Once you start taking a responsibility for your actions, things will change. Because then you cannot simply take the trade because you wanted to take the trade and then blame someone else because this trade failed. Okay? This part is crucial. Next. Second one, underestimating the markets. Again, we're going back to the idea where you just have these amazing dreams and expectations from the markets, and you immediately go ahead and invest 1,000 or 5,000 or 10K, and you start trading with the idea, okay, I'm going to beat this thing. I'm going to make 50% this month and I'm going to the Bahamas. No go. Okay? And the logic here is very simple. If you go unprepared for any kind of event, tournament, whatever it is, right? You are doomed to failure, guys. Trading in this part is no different than any other business. So think about it this way. It's a competition where people change money or exchange money. If you have the knowledge and the skills, you will be able to make money from these transactions. If you're not, well, you will lose money. That's it. It's very, very simple. We buy and sell. Now, here I'm talking about the promises and the false dreams that are circulating the web, and that we should not fall for it. But think about this. If you still believe that this is true, and it's super easy to make money, all right, think about that for a second. I mean, what kind of people work in the big hedge funds and the prop firms? What kind of money do they earn, and what's their background? Okay, I mean, the top of the top in this industry, think about these people, just for the sake of the example. And then think about whether just looking at some arrows can help you to immediately make money. I'm not saying it's impossible, no, but there is more to that, right? We need to be well educated, we need to practice a lot, and then we're going to get to that. And of course, manage our expectations. If you're expecting to make 50% on average, well, good luck with that. It's a complex profession with many factors to be taken into consideration. And if you follow through the procedure, to use some coding language here, if you follow through all these steps on the way, well, the output is money. If you don't, then you fall into another category, well, where the output is losing money instead of making money. Okay, it's really simple. Just don't fall for these things. So the easiest way for me to put that in perspective is just get the right education and then start practicing. And this will lead you to a path of either success or a path where you understand your education is wrong. But before you start investing real money, you must go through these steps here. Because if it turns out the education is not good, or this is simply not something that you like, this style of trading is not your style of trading, or whatever the reason is, right? And it doesn't bring you to this output where you make money, then you need to go back and repeat. Get some other book or get some other video course, whatever it is. Start practicing. See if that brings you consistently the profits that you're looking for. And if that's the case, then live account comes. Not before that. Because usually what most people do is ignore this step, ignore these 3 steps, invest immediately real money, lose them 1, 2, maybe 3 times, maybe 4, I don't know. I don't have statistics for that, but this happens more often than you can expect. And only then they come here. So why not try to save these few steps, expensive steps, many times, and start from the very beginning. Again, guys, if you're a pilot, do you go to the airplane or you go through education and courses? If you're a doctor, if you're a surgeon, what happens first? You go to school, you practice, etc., many years until they bring you to the operation room and you start operating real people, right? Why do you think this business, the trading business, is different than all the other businesses out there? So that's about underestimating the market. Just make sure you come prepared to this game, to this business, because if you're not prepared, guys, you will pay, and you will pay good. Next, patience. This is my favorite one. It's the simplest of all, probably, or at least it sounds like it's a super simple thing, but in reality it turns out to be the hardest for probably majority of the traders and the students that we have in the club. The problem is that it doesn't matter what kind of information, knowledge, strategies, courses softwares, it doesn't matter how much of those we give you. If you're not following the idea behind them, there is no way for you to make money. Okay, so if we're saying wait for step number 1, then wait for step number 2, then wait for step number 3, and here go ahead and buy, okay, it makes sense. But what we see is step number 1 happens and you buy, and then we go ahead and ask, okay, why did you buy here? Well, because it looks like step number 1 of possible step number 2 and 3. But are steps 2 and 3 there? Well, no, but it looks like. Well, looks like doesn't mean it's there, right? People don't have the patience to wait. So again, it doesn't matter how much I teach you or someone else teaches you about the strategy they're using. If you're not following it and you're bending the rules all the time, what do you expect to happen? You're simply doing something completely different from what you're being taught. Okay? And this is where I'm asking you, if you already have some experience with trading, go back to your charts and do some kind of journaling if you're not doing that yet, and see what's happening. I mean, do you have all the trades following your rules? What about risk management? What about money management? What about your targets? Go back and do that and see how many of those are strictly following the plan. And again, I'm not saying if you're following the plan 100%, you're not going to lose. But the idea here is that if you were taught to do 1, 2, 3, okay, these 3 steps, and then buy or sell, and the statistics are saying that if you do that consistently after 100 trades, or after excuse me, or after 1,000 trades, you will be making money, then what's the problem? Why not follow it? And here comes the patience. Sometimes there will be no setup. This is not going to happen for a week or 3 days. Or if you're scalping, it's not going to happen for 7 hours. Okay? I don't understand why is it so hard to just not be in a trade. This is also a trading decision. Okay, so patience is extremely hard to be applied, even though it's such a simple thing. So next time you open your chart, make sure you put a piece of paper next to you with your specific plan. What are you looking for? Rule number 1, 2, 3, 5, X. If all that is there, then go ahead and buy or sell. Then once you're in a trade, have another piece of paper that says, if the price goes to this level, I'm going to do this. If the price goes to this level, I'm going to do that. If the price does something else, I'm going to do this. Okay? Absolutely clear plan and structure beforehand, not when you're in a trade already, because then you become emotional. That must be present beforehand. So this is one of the ways to apply patience and to start incorporating it in your trading. I know it sounds, again, very simple and somewhat caveman style, but it helps, because then you can clearly see what you're missing and what you're not doing. So let's say your plan consists of 3 steps, okay? Step number 1, actually let's put check mark. Step number 1 is there, step number 2 is there, step number 3 is not there. Well, close that chart. Do not enter this trade. what usually happens is, yeah, but this is almost there, looks like it's going to do this, I will try to get better prices now, and I'm going to sell right now while the price is still high, so I can catch the top, or wow, we're making much more money than if we're waiting for this thing to go here and break it. And boom, rule number 3 broken. And then what happens? Because the price did not make lower loss where you were supposed to sell, just for the sake of the example, price boom, pushes up, loss. So patience, extremely important thing. Now fear, this is another really interesting subject, and this falls into the category of emotions here. And emotions, first of all, should be limited as much as possible. Everyone is being emotional when you're looking at these numbers at the bottom that says plus or minus, okay, and the numbers are constantly changing up and down, and you get excited or you want to cry if you didn't apply the correct risk management. But fear is usually on the top because of a few things. Now, fear and confidence go hand in hand, not just in trading, guys. Okay, if you're, let's say you're, I don't know, driving in a mountain somewhere and it's snowy and you're not a very confident driver, what happens? There is the fear that you're going to drift away and, some kind of accident might be happening. What happens then? You slow down because you're not confident enough in your driving skills. You never drove in snow. Same thing is happening in trading. Something on the chart starts present itself, and because you're not confident enough in your knowledge, in your strategy, you slow down, which means you start cutting your profits while you're waiting for your losers to reach their stop loss. Okay, and this is not good. Now look at this thing. Fear leads to confidence, and confidence is usually related to practice, because if you practice, you get confident, and practice comes from skills and knowledge. Maybe I should have put here knowledge as well. Now reverse that order and see what happens. If you have knowledge and skills, you start practicing, and if you practice enough, you get the confidence, and if you get the confidence, fear, this is where we break the chain, right? Fear is no more there. That, on the other hand, means you follow your trading plan very carefully and precisely. You don't cut the losses, you don't cut the profits, and you follow the plan. Again, this is the bottom line. Let's see what we have here. When you're not confident enough in your trading, you let losers run it. Okay, because you didn't practice enough what you're doing to gain the confidence that you need to be patient. Look at these keywords. It's all coming together when you think about it. One thing leads to the other, and it's really connected. That's why, sorry guys, again, trading is not some simple business that you get involved and you become super successful in 5 days or 1 week. Okay, many components, and if you figure out how this thing works, you start making money. Tip number 5, revenge trading or punishing the market. And this is, in my opinion, one of the worst things you could be doing to yourself and to your account. Everything that we mentioned above comes down to this one, because once you lose your cool after a losing streak, you start doing emotional trading and you start doing stupid decisions which cost too much. Now, due to bad risk and money management, you feel like you must return everything that you lost so far. What does that mean? You lost 3 trades, 3 consecutive trades. And instead of using some normal, small, acceptable for you risk, which is, let's say, 0.5% or 1% or 3%, you're using 10% per trade, or you're using 15% per trade. So then when you lose 1, 2, 3 trades, your balance looks like this. And now is the time to make it all back, right? Because you attacked first, second, third time. Now it's the time to make it all back. Now the market is going to provide finally what I was looking for, and I'm going to return all my money in one shot. Well, sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, but most of the times it really doesn't. But the problem is, once you have lost 50% or 30% or 40% of your account, emotions are going to find you. And emotions and trading, not a good combo, guys. Not a good combo, believe me. This is the place where we need to recover, and this is the place where the plan that we were using before is not there anymore. Okay, we just need to make this money back. So we don't enter according to our trading plan, patience is gone immediately, and you somehow end up in a dead spiral. Okay, and right here is your account blown. That's the whole story. This is usually how it goes. So consider all these things and make sure you don't fall for them. They're not that hard to be applied. There is nothing crazy about it. It's not rocket science. It's very simple things, but people somehow don't manage to apply them into their trading. Now, one more thing here regarding losing. If losing was not part of trading, there will be no such words as drawdown. Okay, this term simply would not exist. And for those of you who are not familiar with drawdown, go ahead and Google it. This is basically how we measure the dips in our performance curve. Okay, so losing is part of it, but if you're losing the correct way, meaning you have a good strict risk management, guys, you don't lose more than X%, and you know that you're, let me just put the drawing stuff again, you know that your losing is under control, because you make money, you lose money, you make sure you lose less than you win. This is the first thing. And then even if you're losing a few more times, okay, and you get break-evens or something like this, then you know the wins are coming. But you're able to survive these drawdown periods. If you lose everything in one shot, then it's simply gambling, nothing more. So that would be all for this lesson, guys. I really hope you enjoyed it. If you have any questions, drop us a comment below this video. I will be happy, or Vlad will be happy also to reply. Again, invitation to the Traders Academy Club and our free Telegram channel, to which you can find the links below in the comment section as well. Wishing you a wonderful day.